everybody. So this is K-pop Cosmos. Yay! We are back. It has been a long time. And once again, joining me is Mark. What's up, Mark? It's been a long time.
I know, Freya. It's been a pretty long time, but I'm glad to be back. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great. And how are things on your end? How are all your shows going?
The shows are still going strong. We're constantly putting out content every week. We still haven't taken a week off in the past 7.5 years, almost 8 years. Jesus.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So new episode. We're putting it out every week. Still talking about nerdy stuff and still having a blast.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, go check out his stuff. It's great. But anyway, so I'm super excited for today because today we're going to be talking about one of my original and favorite groups. And everyone knows who they are in K-pop. And if you're new to K-pop, it's fine if you don't. But they are Big Bang, and they just had a comeback. I love them. Sorry. So, have you heard of Big Bang before, Mark?
Yes, I have. It's one of those bands that if you even dip your toes into K-pop, even just a little bit, you are going to come across them because they are huge. Not even just their solo stuff, just as a band in general, they're huge. Fantastic Baby was the song that made me go, oh, I will look into this band a little bit more because that song just blew me away.
Oh yeah, that song is amazing. I actually bought that album. And back in the day, with them, it was hard to get a hold of their albums because K-pop wasn't. They were part of the first wave, and so they weren't on iTunes. And the only thing you could do is like go on and watch their YouTube videos or go to conventions like I did, and they would have like a music booth, and just hope that they have the group that you like there. So while I was there, I got. I had the Big Bang album. I think it was one of their special edition albums, and it had Fantastic Baby on it. And then I also picked up a 2NE1 album, and they had like Wonder Girls there and stuff. So I was super excited.
Nice.
I was so excited. But yeah, Fantastic Baby is really a great song though. Like it really drags you in. It's upbeat. It's pumpy. It's like heck yeah. you know.
It's one of those things. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get into it in the future, but it's one of those videos that's just like so iconic and strange and weird. But it was the live performance is what pulled me in. When I saw them do that song live, I was like, what is happening right now? I need to know more about this group.
Yeah, their live performances, they are the kings of hype at their concerts and just performances. Yes. They're so good. But anyway, before we get more into it, let's do a little background on them, shall we? So Big Bang was under YG Entertainment. They debuted August 19th, 2006. So they're well past the 10-year, cutoff. They're still going. And oddly enough, Big Bang does not have an official color.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
It is weird. I thought it was yellow, and I was a VIP. So, yeah, so they don't actually have an official color. So that's a very rare and odd thing. So they have their main members, which are, of course, Top. I love this man. He's so chiseled, man. So this is Top. And Top was born in 1987. So, he was born in South Korea. He was actually a childhood friend of their leader, G-Dragon. And so the reason he got in was because of G-Dragon. He was actually first rejected by YG because he said he was too fat. He was a very chunky boy. Well, I wouldn't say very chunky. He was an average looking good. He's a little bit. He had a little meat on him, you know.
Yeah,
So
I saw a picture of him. He was, I wouldn't say fat, but he was definitely chubby.
he
Like,
was
a little
chubby. Yeah, he wasn't fat, but he was that kid that just has a little extra weight, and
Yeah.
and he kind of carried it in his face. It seemed like so, So he went home after they told him no, and he lost 20 kilograms in 40 days.
Insane.
So that, yeah, it's nuts. But he got, they're like, okay, you can come in now. Plus, G-Dragon's like, no, you need to bring my friend in, Puckos. So the thing about Top was that he was a underground rapper at the time. So, which is kind of funny. And he was actually the first underground rapper to become a idol.
Oh, wow.
Because it's very normal now, but he was the first one, and that was thanks to G-Dragon. Be like, hey, bro, come join my group. So Top is fantastic, and then of course
Top has an amazing voice. His voice is so deep, and when he starts rhyming, it's like, yes, do it.
Yeah, it very much hits you, and you're like, oh, I know it. You know immediately who that man is. Like, he would not be able to be on what's it called, Masked Singer, because he'd be like, I know that voice. He's so deep. It's great, man. And speaking of his friend G-Dragon, yeah. So G-Dragon was the leader, as we said, and he was born in 1988. He was originally a SM trainee when he was 8 years old, and then
I saw videos of him as a kid rapping, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's been doing this since he was like a child. It was like watching like Crisscross or Little Bow Wow or something. I couldn't believe he's been doing it that long.
Yeah, he was like second grader, like elementary school, primary school. And he was an SM trainee, but then at 12, he became a YG trainee. So he didn't stick with them. And let's see. So I'll get into more of that later, but he is also fluent in English. I think all of them are, to be perfectly honest. He is also one of the rare, I guess it's not so rare anymore, but back in the day it was rare. He is tatted up, man. Like, he's tatted up. He's also considered the king of K-pop. So he is crazy. Like, everyone knows who G-Dragon is. I actually, once again, at a convention, there was a newspaper, and it was Year of the Dragon, and it was all about G-Dragon.
Nice.
I bought it. I have it. So I was like, oh, geez, I am really into these guys.
G-Dragon is definitely one of the coolest K-pop artists ever. Like, he's just his music is good. His fashion choices are amazing. But just as like an artist himself, like he breathes rare air. Like, there's not a lot of K-pop stars that I feel have like their, at least not a lot of male K-pop stars that I feel have their true identity like in place. Like, there is no one like G-Dragon at all anywhere. He's completely original, and I think that's something that's it's really easy to identify him right away. And the fact that his music is amazing just is a complete bonus.
Yeah. So speaking of his music, G-Dragon is, as of what I looked up, which was this year, but things change all the time. G-Dragon is the only soloist from an idol group to win Artist of the Year Day Song at Mama.
I can believe that.
Yeah, and he won it with Heartbreaker, and it was 2013, I think he did it. But yeah, that is an oddity. It's a rarity, because usually the groups take that,
Yeah.
So, but he did it by himself, alone, and he was fantastic. And also, you talked about his fashion. He is the reason why idols do airport fashion.
Oh, really?
Because, yeah. You can blame him for them dressing up and going to the, doing weird things, dressing in their best. Actually, his airport fashion, I wish I had a picture of it. He showed up like styling. He came out of a white Rolls Royce at the airport. I
Nice.
was like, nice, man. Yeah, exactly. I was like, damn, nice. It was fun. And also another accomplishment of G-Dragon, as we are only 2 members in, G-Dragon is the reason we have light sticks as well. Like
No
personal
way.
this way. G-Dragon designed the very first personalized light stick for their group. He came up with the light sticks. Ta-da! So
That's amazing.
I know, right? So he is the reason why all of these groups now have these light sticks, and because he's so creative, and he's like, you know what? Because everyone had like the light colors, the little actual, like crack it and then it's a light type of
Yeah,
thing.
the little glow sticks. I remember seeing
Yeah,
it was either balloons with the like color balloons for your group, or it was light sticks.
yeah. So G-Dragon took it a step further and went, we're gonna have our own personalized light sticks, and they're pretty freaking amazing, man. Like the special edition one with like the more silver ornate looking stuff on it is my personal favorite. But they also have one that wraps around your wrist like a watch, which is really cool because then you can like throw your arms around, without being afraid you can like smack someone in the face. But yeah, G-Dragon, he is the man that brought in a lot of firsts for K-pop. And then also moving on from G-Dragon, because there's a lot to talk about with G-Dragon. We also have my personal favorite member, Taeyong. I love this man so much, man. Like, I love him. He was my favorite. He can also speak English. He's the main vocalist and main dancer. He was also born in 1988. He's known G-Dragon since he was 12 because they were trainees together at YG. Him and G-Dragon were supposed to do like a hip hop duo. It was supposed to be like GDYB, but of
Right.
course it never stays to plan with these companies, and they decide to make them a boy group. So it's funny. One of the facts about him is he went on a blind date with Girls' Generation Yuri.
What?
And that's how they became friends.
No way.
Yeah, he went on a blind date with her. It was so funny. So, but now he's actually married. He got married in, I believe, 2018, 2019. It was right before he went into the military. He married an actress, an actress. Her name was, I should have written it down. It was what was it? Min Hyorin. She's a cute lady. So if you go on the internet, you can actually find videos of their wedding that like other celebrities have posted. It's so cute. I don't know why I watched their wedding, but I did. And CL from 2NE1 came showing up in her huge ass fluffy coat. Like she's a boss, man. Like,
That's
but
the only way that's the only way she can do it. She can't show up in a demure like little outfit. She has to
oh
be
no, she is fluffy. Like she dominates her room, man. But we're
yeah.
not. Yeah, like sorry. I love her too. But yeah, Big Bang, Taeyong, he's fantastic. I was obsessed with his song Ring a Linga when it first came out in 2014, 13, 14. And I was so addicted to it that I actually had to stop listening to K-pop entirely because I had my language proficiency exam, but it was in Japanese. And so I couldn't have like Korean floating in my head while I'm trying to like test in Japanese. So I had to stop. But also Taeyong, he and G-Dragon are the ones that wrote most of their songs. Like even right out the gate, they were letting them write and produce their songs, which was also a first in the K-pop industry. Before, like they were the first ones to do that. Like most of the time, the idols they had their songs written for them. They didn't write it and produce it. But Big Bang was the first group that was actually allowed to write and produce their own music. Technically, it was G-Dragon, but Taeyong jumped in there as well. Um,
Yeah, and
and
it's very
mhm,
strange that I mean it's cool that the label let them, you know, write and produce their own stuff at the beginning,
mhm,
but their songs are so different. Like you would think that if, you know, G Dragon was writing all of the songs that they will all kind of have like a similar vibe or a similar type of style, but those Big Bang songs are completely different from one another. So it's amazing that they, you know, have the talent to, you know, sing and dance and do all of the boy band stuff, but still create something that's original and
mhm.
unique to K-pop.
Yeah, and they did so well, like G-Dragon's music and everything. It won, and they were all such huge hits that other agencies copied them. They're like, okay, maybe we should let our artists write their music too. You know, I was like, G-Dragon, man, you guys, come on, stop. And it solidifies once again that there is a reason this group is so like idolized and still are idolized to everyone in K-pop because everyone grew up listening to them. But moving on from Taeyang, we
Okay,
also
I want to say one more thing about Taeyang.
yes.
I wasn't like I knew of Big Bang, but I didn't know of them individually, except for G Dragon because he's so original.
Mhm.
Taeyang came onto my radar from the eyes, nose, and lips video
Yeah,
because no one could stop talking about that video. It
yeah,
was everywhere. I'm like, what is happening right now to
yeah.
K-pop? Everyone was obsessed with that video.
I know. Yeah, it's a great. I was obsessed with that video, and it was such a basic video. Like, actually, when you watch it, it's so basic. It's him dancing in like this street alley thing, or maybe I'm just watching the dance versions. But like, it was so basic, but the song was so good. And the fact about that song is that was the song dedicated and about his now wife, and he wrote that in
Oh,
2013, I think, around that time. So they were dating for like a good like 6 years or something before they're like, oh, I'm dating her and we're gonna get married, sort of
nice.
sort of thing. So it is possible for K-pop idols to like get married, but it's so freaking it's like stepping around landmines. It's so tricky on how they have to like come out and do it. Like it's weird. Like they have to come out and say, oh, I'm dating someone, but they have to do it like a specific way. And then a couple of years later, then they have to come out and be like, oh, we're getting married now. But it's like you have to like, but you can watch it, fans. We're gonna have videos and stuff. It's so like tiptoey. But they can get married. It's a tricky ordeal. Like some of them, they get it. Um, but moving on from Taeyong, and I'm sad to go, but Daesung. So he is. I always thought he was the baby of the group because once again, everything I was watching was on YouTube. We didn't have like K-pop profiles or anything like that. You had to pick it up as you were like searching the internet for videos of these people. Like
Yep.
it wasn't accessible back then. Like even Ringa Linga, I had to uh, get it in a particular way that was not legal per se, because it wasn't on iTunes. It didn't have any K-pop on iTunes. But then soon after, they started putting K-pop on iTunes. So I bought it. I bought it legally, YG. I got it legally. I paid for it later, okay, when it was available. But yeah, it was like the Wild West. It was like you had to like search and like
Yes.
it was awful. But anyway, Daesung. He was the lead vocalist and he's one of the Maknae. He is also from South Korea. His nickname is Smiling Angel. So
Oh.
also with Daesung, and it's so sad. Apparently, people told him his eyes were ugly, so he always seems to have a hairstyle that covers his eyes. But my
Yes.
personal favorite of him is when I can see his eyes because I love his eyes.
And I picked up on that too. It was amazing. Because, when you're trying to identify like who is who, he was
Hmm.
easy to spot because it kind of had like the shaggy dog type of thing where
Yeah.
the hair would cover his eyes and he would have to like tilt his head back to look out at the audience.
Uh-huh.
So like, oh, okay, I know who that guy is. But
Yeah.
his voice I think he might have the best voice. Does the best vocal performances. I mean, I know Taeyong's your guy, but I
Yeah.
think he might have the best vocal performances in the group from my standpoint.
Yeah. Well, he does have an amazing voice. I would say he is like top 5 singers in K-pop.
Mhm.
So I do really like his voice. I am partial to Taeyong, but I'm not partial to Taeyong because of his voice. I'm partial to Taeyong because of his dancing and just his whole aura about him and his style. So
Sure. And him making a video with his shirt off for most of the,
oh
most
yeah,
of the
he
video.
does not like having his shirt on like ever, and that's fantastic. I love it. But Daesung is also extremely ripped, so he's also shirtless a lot of the time, whether he wants to or not, because they rip his shirt off of him.
I've seen that video too.
Yeah, he so Daesung, he is actually close friends with another singer, Gummy. She does a lot of OSTs for like K dramas, so you've probably heard a song of hers before. And he has a special Japanese stage name, and it is Delight.
Was cracking up when I saw that because I'm like, oh, all of the members are good. They all do their own like solo things, but why can't I not really come across any solo Daesung stuff? And I'm like, oh, he's under D-Light.
Yeah. So also he has his own like YouTube channel where my sister watches it and she thinks it's hilarious. So he likes to pretend he goes under, I think, Delight in that, and he pretends like he's not Daesung. Like, like he's like, I don't know who Daesung is. Who's Daesung? I was like, what? So he's a weirdo, but you know, he's a fun weirdo. I like him. So, and for everyone asking, no, I'm not talking about scandals at all with this, okay? Because that's a whole video altogether. And so, and all of them have had them, but I'm not talking about them. If you want to look them up, you can look them up. But yeah, and so Daesung, he's like one of the most popular characters members in Japan. But yeah, I like him. He is like, yeah, like you said, he's like the shaggy dog. Right now, he has like curly hair and it's covering his face, so even more so now. So yeah, Daesung's great. Definitely look out, watch some like singing videos of his. They're they're great. I keep saying fantastic, and I have fantastic babies stuck in my head now. So
That's how it works. That's how K-pop works.
yeah, exactly how it works. And then we have Seungri. So Seungri is an ex-member as of, when was that whole situation? 2019?
2019, yeah.
Yeah,
Right
2019.
before.
Yeah, right before the pandemic. 2019, Seungri announced that he is leaving the entertainment industry. So he's just kind of gone. And yeah, his situation was international news. So yeah, that'll be easy for you guys to find. So I'm not going to talk about it because that's just, it's messy. So he was Umakne. He was lead dancer and vocalist. I think they're all lead dancer and vocalists, to be perfectly honest. He was born 1990, December. He actually got onto Big Bang into the group because he was on a TV show. It was like Shinwa. What was it? Shinwa. It was. Let's Coke play Battle Shinwa. So it was like a boy band battle survival show.
Okay.
And so YG saw him and grabbed him essentially. I believe he's the youngest member of Big Bang. So apparently, G-Dragon was upset that Big Bang had 5 members, and he totally ignored Seungri for 3 months.
Wow.
So he ignored his existence. Wow, good job. Well, they moved past that. So, and a lot of these guys, they were in TV shows and movies. So you can find them in that. And then, yeah, Seungri. And then there was one time with Seungri. Well, the rest of the members were in the military because everyone did their military service because he's the baby of the group. He was doing a solo concert, and I don't know if you saw this. He was pissed because they have live bands that travel with them. but YG during his concert in China, I believe, YG took his live band away and sent it to Blackpink instead. And so he didn't have a band to play his music during his concert. And I think they also took his backup dancers as well. And he was pissed, and he was like, yeah, he said that because he went on a rant. He went on stage and he went on this huge rant about why he couldn't perform, because of this whole YG thing. And he said that he contacted YG. He's like, what the crap are you doing? He's like, and the YG's response was like, but you're the great Sungri. You can make it work. I'm like, wow, YG. Wow, YG. Way to be a douchebag. I was like, come on. He's one of your most popular idols. And you're like, nah, you don't get music or backup dancers.
Yeah, I mean, YG seemed like they were making a big deal about Blackpink. Like they seemed to really be pushing them hard during their debut time. So I can definitely understand that, where they're like, hey, you've been around for 10 years
over
or so.
10 years.
Yeah, you can be like one of the other 2 labels that just use backing vocals. Just be them for a while.
Yeah.
Live band.
Yeah, seriously. So I was like, oh my gosh, like Sungri, poor guy, like with that situation. But yeah, so those are the guys. They're now 4 though. A lot of VIPs were upset that Sungri left, because now they're just down to 4. But that honestly, when you've been around a while, you realize that K-pop groups, they lose people along the way with different situations. So if your group stays together as like their whole group, then that's a freaking miracle unicorn thing going on, because that never happens. They always like shed people. Yep. Even the small groups. Like there's one group that had 5 and they're down to 2. Like they had 3 members leave. But yeah, BigBang, fantastic. So some firsts. I'm gonna bring out some firsts. We already know about Top and the light sticks and the fashion. And they're writing and producing their own music. So BigBang was also the first group to have members do solo music careers without disbanding the group, which is actually very normal in K-pop now. Everyone does that now.
Yeah, like, well, subunits are like part of the package at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I love the subunits. Because I don't know, sometimes some members just mesh really well with each other. And then others, they, you're like, ugh, but why is this person next to this person, type of thing. Like, I think my favorite subunit is actually G-Dragon with Taeyang with Bad Boy. I love that song. So,
oh my God, that is one of my favorite K-pop songs ever. Like top 10 K-pop songs. I must have watched that video like 100 times. I must have watched dance versions of that video, like people doing cover dance versions of it, like for like a year straight. I love that song. I love this. The song is amazing. The choreography is amazing too. If you ever watch like a performance from beginning to end, usually like with dance performances, they'll have like their signature move, and then they'll do like a little formation, and then they'll go back and do the signature move again. That dance for that, it's all new. It's all new moves through the entire song. From beginning to end, they don't repeat the same move twice, except for the I'm a good boy when they brush their shoulder off. That's the only move that's repeated. And when I saw that, I'm like, who are these guys? How are they so freaking cool doing it? So yeah, I love that song.
It is a great song. It was, and once again, it was in the Ring-a-Ling-a time, like in 2014, around that time. I was like, freaking BigBang, man. Like, you really screwed me up in my schooling. But yeah, also, BigBang is the first boy group to dye their hair unusual colors, like pink and stuff. And guess which member it was? G-Dragon, he is a fashion icon. Like, he just does whatever he wants. But yeah, now, everyone dyes their hair crazy colors. But that was because G-Dragon, that man has like probably killed his hair. But it looks beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. And they are they are fashion icons. bam, fashion icons, man. Like they have the craziest outfits sometime. Like and the crazy thing is that when they came out, they were called the Ugly Boy Group. Do you know that?
I didn't know that, but I can see why fans would try and do something like that to them, because they kind of, I think they've grown into their sexiness. They
Mhm.
might not have started out that way.
Yeah, they were, normal guys, but they weren't pretty boys, like a lot of groups did. They kind of, some groups still do it, but a lot of groups have kind of like strayed away from like super pretty boys. Some of them have like, manly dudes in their, groups now. And that's because of Big Bang. Also, Big Bang is the reason why, and I believe it was YG who said it, that YG became, they made YG what it is today. They are one of the groups, I like to say 2NE1 is too, but Big Bang is the group that propelled YG into the top, like into making it, instead of, the big two that it was back in like with first gen, it was SM and another company.
JYP.
Um, no, it wasn't JYP. It was
Oh,
another company. JYP came in around the same time as YG.
right. Yeah,
But it was,
JYP was the third. When YG became number two, JYP became number three, if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
yeah. So, and Big Bang is the group that propelled them into that. They're the reason YG is as big as they are. Um, and also, Big Bang is the first K-pop idol group. I'm saying group, guys, because there were soloists who did this, but they are the first K-pop idol group to collaborate with Western artists. G-Dragon collaborated with Flo Rida back in 2009. I believe it was Heartbreaker that he did. They also, G-Dragon did a collaboration with Missy Elliott, which I was excited for because I like Missy Elliott. Um,
Yeah, I saw that performance. I love that performance. I'm like, oh, this is like chocolate and peanut butter. These are two things that definitely go well together. Missy
yeah,
and G Dragon. I was loving that.
yeah. And I believe this isn't even Missy Elliott's first K-pop collaboration. I believe she collaborated with a soloist previously. But I always love these collaborations. I remember there was like a Snoop Dogg collaboration with someone, and it's just, it's always the hip hop usually. Like they really did like collaborating with hip hop artists in the West, which I like. I thought was great. Um, Also, another first for they're so iconic. They're the first K-pop group to win an international award. They actually won MTV European, was it EMA, European Music Award. I believe they beat Britney Spears and Justin Bieber, I think, for that award. Yeah, so they were excited. So they're the first group to win an international award, a Western international award. Go figure. And that was in 2011, which is saying something because once again, social media wasn't even really a thing at that time. Because Twitter, was it Facebook was made in 2012 or something like that around that time? And then Twitter
Uh,
came later
yeah, Twitter came later, but I think they were both kind of I think they were both
around,
before that.
yeah, I don't know. But anyway, social media was not really a big thing. I remember MySpace, but you weren't really like sharing things on MySpace was worked differently. So, but it's impressive because it didn't have the help of social media, but they were still winning these awards because people like me were finding YouTube videos of them. What? Hooray for the Korea booze and the weeaboos. uh, Also, something else, they introduced the concept of mini albums, which is very, very prominent now. But they're the first group to do mini albums.
Wow, I did not realize that. I just assumed that was part of the K-pop album release process. I didn't think that they would be that this generation or the generation that they came from would be one of the first to do it. I just assumed that was just part of the process.
No, they introduced it. I think I watched the video and they were talking about it. Like, we have some songs we want to release, but they said it was too many to be counted as a single, but it was too few to be counted as an album. So we're gonna call it a mini album. I'm like, oh, because it was during one of their like behind the scenes videos. So it was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that either, because I've always thought it was just kind of how K-pop is. But no, it's Big Bang introduced that. Also, they were the first idol group to have a rap line. But in groups, the rappers usually in older groups were not really rappers per se. They're kind of the member that couldn't sing very well, and so they're like, okay, you'll be the rapper.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. Like, your voice isn't really that good. How are you with rapping? That's what you're gonna do from now on.
you're gonna rap, but you're gonna rap slow, you know. But yeah, Big Bang, because they actually had like an underground rapper, like a actual rapper. They, had a rap line with G Dragon and Top. Also, it was kind of because they very heavily leaned into hip hop, like culture and stuff. Big Bang did. A lot of the other groups, they did, those weird videos that you watch, that K-pop does, where they're like, they were doing typical idol stuff, but Big Bang was really heavy into the hip hop stuff. And then they went into electronic music because G Dragon's like, well, that's what's popular right now. So,
Right, right. I'm pretty sure YG had a very specific plan in mind when he was when he was getting started, because everyone else is doing, they have like their patterns where they're doing like the typical boy band stuff where they have like the cute one and the Magnum one, and they kind of design it as like a fabricated boy band. And I'm sure YG was like, all of my boys are just gonna be smooth, they're gonna have swag, they're gonna be just like the coolest guys in a room. And that's it's probably why they might have been called the ugly group when they first came out. It was more about them just having a swag than being the pretty boys of the other labels.
yeah. And like even on you watch TV shows of them, especially with like Song or something, they go, oh, but it was his hair. When his hair was covering his eyes again, they're like, oh, so you're ugly again. So he's like, yeah, I guess. So they kind of embraced it. They're like, yeah, I'm not a pretty boy. What, you know. But and then they were also the first idol group to have a large scale world tour.
Yes.
It was their Alive Galaxy tour, and they had about 800,000 fans worldwide. And that was in 2012-13. Once again, without the help of social media, and you just had to know that they were showing up. And I wanted to go see them so bad at that time. And then they are still, uh, let's see, they still have one of the biggest K-pop tours of all time. They're number 2, BTS is number 1, but not by much. So Big Bang, they had over 1.5 million fans show up, and they did 66 shows, and I think they said 15 countries that they went to. So that's 1.5 million people that went to see them. And then of course BTS had a little over 1.5. It was a little 1 point. It's close from like 1.6, something like that. But yeah, that was back in 2015 that they had that tour. So
yeah, I remember. So when I started to get into K-pop, which was probably about 10 years ago, I know like some bands were touring, like EXO was like doing like a small tour, and you look at the venues that they were playing, and they weren't like large venues, but they were kind of, and this was like probably maybe 8 years ago, 8 or 7 years ago. You look at the venues that whenever K-pop did come to America, you look at the venues and it's like, okay, yeah, this is a nice house, but it's not like a big place. Like Wonder Girls, when they came to America, like on their solo tour, they played like the House of Blues, which is just like a tiny little establishment. Yeah. You look at Big Bang, like from 2012 in America, it's huge. Like they were selling out these massive places, and I'm like, how is that possible in 2012 that they can sell out that many big venues? But that's how popular they were.
yeah, it was insane. I even saw them on like those little ads. I actually saw an ad for one of their concerts. I was like, oh, I want to go, but it's always in like LA and stuff.
Right,
I don't
right.
live in LA or anywhere near LA. But I was like, oh, I wish I could go, but I don't have anyone who's like into K-pop like I'm into K-pop. So I would watch them go by. I'm like, oh. And then I remember the first KCON that they did. And
Yep.
like back then the tickets were $15. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, I still want to go. I want to see these groups, but I have no one to go to LA with me. I can't go. And now the tickets are super expensive. And I'm like, oh, I have someone who will go with me, but I'm like, oh, I can't go now. Now it's just too expensive.
I don't even
Why?
look at Cake. I don't even entertain the idea of going to KCON anymore, unless a group that I really, really love happens to be making an appearance. I don't even
Mhm.
bother. I don't even bother entertaining the idea.
Yeah. They'll need to have like BigBang or Shiny show up for me to
Yeah.
go. Like I just and I've already seen BTS live, so why I didn't improve. I've been to their concert. I was close, but um, I've their concerts, Big Bang's concerts. YG, okay, second gen YG concerts were they have like the best hype people from that generation. Blackpink's trying. Sorry, Blinks. Blackpink is trying, but they cannot match the energy and enthusiasm, the hype that second gen YG groups had. Like 2NE1, Big Bang, their hype is amazing,
Yep.
and it's on. You can't match it. Like it's it's a whole special thing. And if you're lucky enough to go to one of their concerts, but unfortunately now with their new song, it was kind of a goodbye song. So, but they're still doing their solo stuff, so you have that to look forward to. But they seem to have unofficially broken up in a sense, which is very, very sad. Because I want to see them. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, those were some of the first that they did. And then they won so many. They got what was it? Total wins. They had 144 wins in their careers, and they had 225 nominations.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. And when they were first kind of new, they won, let's see, all three categories they were nominated for in the Soul Music Awards. They got the grand prize in Best Song for Lies, which G Dragon wrote, and they got Artist of the Year and Best Male Group at Mnet Music Festival. They just won. Like they started winning. Like as soon as like what freaking G Dragon was writing the songs and Taeyong and all of them were writing and producing, like they started winning everything, all the way up to like they were winning 2018, and then they all went to the military, of course. But they're
Yeah,
crazy.
I watched a clip of them just the their names getting announced at award shows, and it was like it just went on and on and on and on. Like,
Yeah,
winner is Big Bang, winner is G Dragon. It was just went on and on and on. Like God, these guys have won they must have won like every award that they could have been nominated for. Like I can't imagine I can't imagine them winning that many awards and there's still something that's eluding them.
yeah. They're just so good. Also, I believe they were one of the first boy groups to. They were all over the Billboard top 100 and 200 and all that. Like they would top those charts back in the day, which is crazy. Because once again, there is no social media, so they they're top in Western charts, Billboard charts. They were in 2014 Forbes 30 under 30 list of they what was it? They got on the lat chart, and then they got one of the top 100 celebrities from Forbes magazine. So they're very influential, and all of the groups currently, like fourth gen groups, they still talk about Big Bang as like why they want to be singers and whatnot. So they're very influential. So music wise, I like I said, I love like all of their songs. Fantastic Baby is really the one that like sucked me in completely though.
Yeah.
Um, But then Haru Haru is cute. It's like the unofficial their fan base is called VIPs. And I was unofficially one because you couldn't be official back in the day because I wasn't Korean or Japanese. So, but Haru Haru is kind of like the VIP's now anthem, I guess. And it was written by G-Dragon, of course. And I honestly, that is the weirdest music video, the Haru Haru song music video. Did you watch that music video at all?
I don't think I did watch that one. Was that was one of their first ones, right?
Yeah, it was one of like the original ones. So the premise from what I'm getting is, was it Top? Anyway, so two of the members are fighting over a girl. It looks like one of them is dating her, but then the other one snatched her away. I think it was G-Dragon and Top who were fighting over a girl, and then she gets like cancer or something. And
Jesus.
then it goes to like, oh, the Top goes to G-Dragon. He's like, she's always picked you or something like that. I was like, this is like a freak. Like, Kate, what is with the drama? It's like a soap opera. What is going on? But yeah, it's like one of their older music videos. So it's like, it looks like it was filmed with like a hand record, like a home video recorder. But it's so old. But yeah, that movie. And then, like I said, Ring-a-Linga, I was addicted to that, specifically the dance video, where just him and all the backup dancers. And I loved that. It was like a continuous shot. But I never, when I think Big Bang, I don't think dancing though, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say they very rarely do like big choreographed dance numbers in their group. They're very loosey goosey with their performances.
Mm-hmm. They are, but they're playing with the audience is what I've noticed. Like when they have an audience, they're always like going up and like running around, hyping them up, ripping off Daesung's shirt. You know, Taeyong just taking his shirt off and throwing it into the crowd, you know. And they have gotten like the Japanese crowd the loudest I've ever heard a Japanese crowd before.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this actually like seems like an American show with how loud they're getting and how rowdy they are. Also, something that I didn't know, but through going through and looking up stuff, apparently the key to their success is that they were not just liked by, because boy groups are usually geared towards females and then girl groups are geared towards guys. So apparently their fan base was 55% male and 45% female.
Yep, that makes 100% sense to me because these guys were like, they were the cool guys. They were the guys that if you're a young man looking up at them, you're like, oh yeah, I want to be like these guys. So yeah, I can totally get that.
Yeah, they got the swag. They're not pretty. They got, masculine swag going on.
Yeah.
They got the, because Taeyong always had a freaking mohawk going on, and G-Dragon has hair going through all the rainbows. And then Top is just freaking deep voice Top, and poor Seungri and Daesung were kind of like the Macnays. So you're like, oh, but they're like, you got the three older guys that are just shining so bright. But Daesung and Seungri are very, I love them too. Daesung's voice, Seungri is Seungri. Sorry. I'm going to be completely honest, and people are going to get mad at me. I never really liked Seungri. I didn't hate him. I'm not his auntie. I never said anything mean about him. He just wasn't my cup of tea, or, I don't know. I miss him that he's not in the group anymore. There is that hole, but he just never vibed with me, There's always like that one member that you're like, I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe, I don't know. But
it could be because the other guys shine so freaking bright. Like their auras or their personalities or even their talent was just super, super bright, like super, super hard. I mean, Seungri is talented, obviously. And I did like some of his solo stuff too. But yeah, there isn't anything when you put him next to like G-Dragon, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then it's just so sorry guys. That's why I'm not trying to be like exclude Daesung or Seungri. It's just those three. And I love Daesung's voice. I'll give him. I love his voice.
Yes.
Thank you. And he's like a puppy, But but so sorry if I'm not talking about them as much. It's just I'm trying. I really am. But Top, he cracks me up. I like him. He dances like an old man, and I love it because he's so tall. It's hard for a tall person to like get the lines down with their body shapes and whatnot. I mean, it's possible, but it's a little bit harder than like the smaller, skinny like Taeyong. Like Taeyong's tiny. No, he's not tiny. He's like my height. But when they say someone's short in the K-pop, especially the boys, they're not really short. They're like 5'9". That's average height for like a Westerner guy. Like the guys who walk down the street, unless they're 6'2", they're gonna be the same height as these K-poppers. Like even freaking Jimin from BTS, he's 5'10". He's taller than me. Yes,
No way.
yeah, he's actually 5'10". And I was like, he's not short. They just make them pretend to be short and tiny. I'm like, because I watch it behind the sorry, BTS. Sorry, I know everyone's gonna be angry at me, but I have a behind the scenes thing, and they're like, oh, pretend like you can't reach the bottle on the top shelf. He's like, okay, to make it look cute. They're like, okay, cut, and then he just like swipes the thing off the shelf, and I'm like, they're not tiny guys. These guys are all like 5'11", 5'12", 5'9". I think Taeyong's the shortest at like 5'9", so or 5'7", and that's not short. That's like average height. Well, Taeyong being 5'7" for a dude, yes, that is short technically in the West, but 5'10" is like average. 5'9", 5'10" is average. So,
I gotta believe that G-Dragon is barely 5'4", because I saw him like go on stage to accept an award, and like all of the announcers are just like towering over him, and I'm like, oh, he's so tiny.
No, I'm going to look up his height right now.
He's got to be like 5'4", 5'5".
He is 5'8".
There's no way he's 5'8".
G-Dragon is 5'8". He's not short. He's not short. Yeah, it's just so yeah. If everyone thinks, oh, they're gonna be because they're Asian, they gotta be short. No. Because of like, okay, I'm gonna go into my history month. So because of imports now, they're eating a lot more like beef and whatever, same things as Western people. And so they've been statistically, men are getting taller in Asian countries. And which makes sense because now everyone's kind of eating basically the same kind of thing, nutritional wise, with imports and whatnot, so everyone's kind of like getting closer to like the same average height, no matter where you're from.
All
okay,
right.
Sorry, weird little tangent, but that's true. So people, because my sister and everyone thought the same thing. They thought, oh, these guys are gonna be like 5'4", something like that, and they're like, no, he's like 5'10". Like he's like, oh, he's the same height as my brother, like, And then there's some of them in other groups, like there's a group that they have a guy who's like 6'2".
Oh yeah, Card.
Yeah, BM.
Yes,
Matthew. Yeah, and then there's another group as well, and you see them at these award shows and stuff, and they're just towering over everyone else. But that's because they're 6'2". That's tall everywhere. So yeah. What were I know you said "Fantastic Baby" is you're like the song that got you. What do you have any other like songs that you really like?
As I mentioned, Bad Boy, which is the subunit song, but I love that song. They have a song called F It or FXXX It that I love so much. I just love that whole vibe. It's one of my favorite songs by them. Obviously, Lollipop, them with 21 was just Lollipop. The cutest thing in the world. I just love seeing them together and being like, that's like if you want to explain K-pop to someone or the visual aesthetic of K-pop, that's the video to watch, because it's just them being cute in the most colorful outfits you could think of, being being at their A game. And the song's adorable. And We Like to Party is another one that I just absolutely love. And I didn't think I would like their newest song when I heard that you know what? God, I almost forgot. Almost every track off of the Made album, which I thought was just a cool rollout, because they're like, all right, the album is called Made, but we're going to release 4 albums. The first one being M, the second one being A, and it just went through like a couple of songs on each album, and then they released like the final album. like the full made album. I'm like, oh, that is a great rollout, because usually when a band has a comeback, maybe you'll get 2 videos if you're lucky. You'll get like the title track, and maybe if you're lucky, you'll get like a B-side video. But with that, we made they think they had a song for like a video for every single song, which was just like, if you're a Big Bang fan, that's just like, yes, give me all of the content. So I enjoy almost every song off of that album.
Yeah, it is a fantastic, not fantastic. Stop saying that word. It's a great album. I love all of their albums. I think I just have a special place in my heart for the one that I bought. It was my very first album. I'm trying to remember what it was called.
Was it the Alive album?
I think so. It was white and it had the B, just the big B on it. You can't get it anymore. Like my sister was looking to buy because I got her into K-pop, and now she's like obsessed with K-pop, but she can't get like any of their albums anymore because they don't sell them. Like she's looking online, she's like, I can't find any albums besides like their new thing. She's like, I can't find anything. But yeah, I can't find the album. Oh, it's it's the special edition Still Alive album. That's the one I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think I had that album on repeat for like a full year. It's the only thing I listened to was that album. And I didn't even know it was special edition. I just saw Big Bang. I'm like, okay, get it. $20, here you go. You know? Yeah, and now you can't even get it. I think you get it for like $90 on like eBay or something. But yeah, I gotta say, I think Bang 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 is like my favorite music video though.
Really?
Because Top is wearing a freaking British, like, those guards, like, I don't know what the hat's even called, that super tall, like, British guard hat that everyone sees. And it's all fluffy. It's just like peak. Their outfits are like peak Big Bang outfits. It's so weird. Like, Daesung's not wearing a shirt. Seungri has like the blonde hair and the chains. Taeyong's got pink going on and is shirtless, and he has all this drip everywhere. And freaking G-Dragon's back there with like a white glove, giant fluffy black, like kind of faux fur jacket, and they're all rocking those like pointy boot things. And then of course they have the car with the hydraulics.
Right.
I love it. I love it so much. So that's like my favorite music video. I think Fantastic Baby would be too, just because of that shot with G-Dragon. Everyone has a throne, but like G-Dragon sitting with his like Korean like what I don't remember what they call the hat, like ruler hat. I don't know what they're called. You see them in like period dramas all the time. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
And so, but it's like him sitting on the throne with his cane and his suit, and his hair is like so long, it's just like on the floor mixing with the red wires, and it's just this red. It's just, that shot is so like iconic looking. So it's very much, they're just iconic. They are essentially what they made K-pop the way it is now, that everyone knows and loves. So yeah, and any last thoughts to wrap up? We've been talking for like almost an hour. So
yeah, there's a lot of, because they've been around for so long and because their solo projects have been so successful. I mean, I don't know how many albums G-Dragon has done on his own, but every one that he comes out with, it seems like it's like a huge hit. But I would say, if you haven't checked out any of Big Bang, definitely check out Fantastic Baby. I would suggest definitely check out the video because it's very iconic. Definitely check out some of their live performances too on YouTube because they are amazing live. And just follow some of the solo stuff too. There's so many videos. If you you do a deep dive into Big Bang, you might not come out for a long, long, long time. But yeah, I think they are probably, I mean, they get the nickname they're the kings of K-pop, but they kind of really are. They kind of really are like the quintessential artistic boy band for K-pop, not the manufactured K-pop boy band. So yeah, I have much respect for them, especially G-Dragon. I think he's one of the most amazing artists in the K-pop field.
Yeah, I agree. Big Bang, they sucked me in. One of the groups that really sucked me in. They're one of the only groups I have albums from. They are not typical K-pop in any sense. They are what they did create a lot of things that are typical K-pop now, but they themselves are so unique that it's just they ooze charisma. Their stage performance is amazing. So I agree. Check that out. Fantastic Baby is a great music video and is very iconic. So yeah, definitely check that out. They also definitely check out side stuff like you said. Check out their side stuff. Their solo stuff is amazing as well. And check out some shows they did. I just found out that they did a show called Run Big Bang Boy Scouts, and they're in like Boy Scout uniforms. So I'm gonna be watching that. It's a YouTube original too, so it's gonna be. I'm gonna watch that and see what the crap they're doing. Because yeah, so they're a great group. They're very unique. And like even if you don't like their music, which honestly I don't know how anyone could not like their music, just at least you have to respect all of the things that they have done for the industry, and all of the vibrancy and everything that we enjoy now because of them. So I'm going to wrap it up. So you can see me on UCPN. I am also on the Definitive Crusade, talking about everything DC Comics and comic related. What do you have going on, Mark?
Every week, me and my co-host Joey and Aubrey, we get together on Soul Wizard Podcast, and we talk about nerdy news, things that's happening in the news in the world of nerds, and we do a review. Usually it's a new movie that came out during the week, whether it's Jurassic Park, or we have coming up soon, we have the new horror movie, The Black Phone, or TV shows. We're going to be doing Obi-Wan Kenobi pretty soon. So, we just get together, talk about nerdy stuff, and we do it every week. You can find our show at soulwizardpodcast.com, and there's links to our Facebook and our Twitter at Soul Wizard Podcast.
All right. Awesome. I'm actually excited for the Black Phone. So anyway, thanks once again, guys, for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.com, all about comic pop culture.